Hey, what's going on YouTube? I'm DarkJack, and in this video I'm going to explain what Sony needs to do to win the upcoming console war and to make it so that the PS4 is better than the next Xbox. And I made a video before this one where I explained what the next Xbox has to do to win the console war. And so everything I said about the Xbox 720 should be true for the PS4 as well. The PS4 needs to be backwards compatible with the PS3, so that way people do not have to swap out their PS3 with their PS4 to be able to play the games that they want, and so they can trade in their PS3 toward the purchase of a PS4. And most versions of the PS3 were not backwards compatible with PS2 games, which is something I don't like at all because I have a PS3 Slim and it doesn't play my PS2 games, which is something I'm not happy about. Also, it needs to be under $400. It cannot block used games, and it should not be always online. And they need to have a great selection of exclusive titles for when the console launches. Now what I'm going to talk about are things that the PS4 needs to do that are different than the Xbox in order to win the console war. So these are things I did not talk about in my last video. First of all, for their exclusive titles, we know that they're going to make a Uncharted 4 game. And so Uncharted 4 needs to be vastly superior to Uncharted 2 and 3. Naughty Dog, which is the studio that makes Uncharted, they need to make it so that the leap between Uncharted 3 and 4 is bigger than the leap between Uncharted 1 and 2. What Sony also needs to do is they need to make PlayStation Plus a better value. And what PlayStation Plus is, it's a subscription fee where you pay money and you get access to free games or prepaid games, and you get access to early demos for games. And I do not subscribe to it because it's not a very good value. I don't think paying that much money just for some old games that I'm not interested in or I already own is worth it. And I'm going to be able to play the demo anyway if I just be patient. Also, they need to have party chat and cross-game chat, which is something that the PS3 does not have, to make it more competitive with the Xbox. And they need to make fully customizable controls for every game. Now, when I play PS3, I use an Xbox controller with an adapter, and I assume for the PS4 there's going to be some sort of adapter as well. Even though I don't plan on buying a PS4 for quite a while, I do plan on getting the next Xbox when it comes out eventually. But when I play on the PS3 with my Xbox controller, when I play shooter games, I have to use the bumpers to shoot, and I have to use the triggers to do everything else. And that's a hassle for me. But if the game had customizable controls, I could switch the position of the R1 with the R2 and L1 with L2. And that would make it much easier to play with an Xbox controller. Also, they need to make it so that they have better and more reliable online capabilities. They need to make it so that the PS4 is never hacked or never goes down. They need to have no more quote-unquote scheduled maintenance, where the multiplayer is down for several days at a time, because that's pretty unacceptable. Even without a subscription fee, you're still paying for the console, and the cost of multiplayer is included with the console. So no more scheduled maintenance, or delays or hackings, because then people will leave and they'll go to the Xbox. Also, they need to have support for HDMI. Now, the PS3 did not support HDMI. It instead supported a different kind of output. I think it's called HDCP. And what that means is that you couldn't use certain capture devices with the PS3, and it made it a little more difficult to record for. Also, they need to make the PS4 easier to program for than the PS3, because the PS3 used the Soul processor, which was hard to program for, and so as a result, there are many games that are on the Xbox and PC, but not on the PS3, like The Witcher 2 and Left 4 Dead. So make the console easier to program for. Also, they need to make it so that Final Fantasy X and its HD collection, which is being made, is an exclusive title, because I might even buy a PS4 if they have that game. And I would certainly eventually buy a PS4 if Naughty Dog brought back the Jak and Daxter series, and they made a new Jak trilogy. So if they had Jak 4, 5, and 6, that would be great, even though I know they're focused on Uncharted. They also need to have an install option for every game, because with some PS3 games, you could not install them to the hard drive, and as a result, they do not run that great, because when you're not reading a game from the hard drive, what that means is that there's more wear and tear on the Blu-ray disc, and it makes it so that the console has a shorter shelf-life. And they also need to fix the yellow light of death. Now, the Xbox had the red ring of death, which was fixed, But with the PlayStation, they have the yellow light of death, which makes it so that if the console overheats, you get a yellow light and you have to send it in for repairs. And they need to fix that. And they need to have more apps, and they need to have a better YouTube browser. And they need to have timed exclusives like the Xbox. Whereas with the Xbox, they get DLC for Call of Duty and Skyrim early. The PS3 and the PS4 need to have their own timed exclusives. And the two keys, like with the Xbox, are a low price and great exclusives for when the console launches. Those are the keys. And if they have those things, if they have party chat, if they have better support for developers, then I think it's possible that the PS4 will win the console war over the Xbox, especially if they do allow used games and are not always online. So I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary, and I'll see you guys later.